Welcome to the Training, Learning, and Development Community's Productivity Playlist. We are on our last episode of the series. It has been a long January. I don't know if you felt that way at all, Alan, but it feels like this January for me has lasted about 6 months. The beginning of the year has been
right.
Yeah, it's been a lot. So I'm so glad that you're closing out this this particular playlist before we move into February. And I want to say good morning to Jane is in. Hey Jane, and Elizabeth, and Neck Zorga Dolman. I know I pronounced that wrong. I know you've been a guest on TLD Cast in the past, but thanks for being in this morning. We've got kind of an earlier than normal broadcast, and we're here talking with Alan Natachu of Exact Sciences about his productivity tips, which have to do with shortcuts, one of my favorite things in the world. And so, so I'm just going to let you take it away, Alan, and we'll get right into it.
All right. Thank you. So there are a lot of people that came onto this productivity playlist that had really great insight on productivity hacks, productivity theory. I am more of a tools guy. I love using tools. I love breaking tools. And one of the things that makes me effective is shortcuts. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite shortcuts and why I use them. And if you have any shortcuts or if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. I am broadcasting from a Mac, so I'm going to get my shortcuts mixed up. All these shortcuts have PC equivalents. A quick Google search will be able to show those shortcuts. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Share my full.
Yeah. Just real quick, I want to know why are you going to why do you get them mixed up? Because you have to work on a Windows machine as well?
I am Pan OS. I switch from Windows 10 to Mac to iOS to whatever's in front of me.
Really? So how about at work? Do you have to use both platforms or?
No, at work I transitioned from higher ed to corporate, and corporate, at least this organization, is a very PC environment.
Yeah. No, I know it's the same challenge for me, and it's actually one of the reasons why I switched over to a Mac was because I used to work purely PC, and then now I work in a Mac environment, and I didn't realize, like, for some reason, shortcuts just seem to be a lot more. I don't know what would be the word for it, but
more fluid, I think, on a Mac.
Yeah. Like, because we just fly around on our Macs, and I used a lot of shortcuts on PCs, but nothing like what I use on a Mac now. So now, over the last year, I've completely moved over to Mac OS. So that's why I was curious, because I do love shortcuts on the Mac.
Yeah, and that brings me to my first rule of shortcuts. Whenever I say command, the PC equivalent is control. And that's going to be, I'm going to get those mixed up as I go through. I'll try very hard not to mix those up. I'm sharing my screen, so if anyone pops up in chat, I'll see it in a moment. All right, shortcuts. I have my web browser here. And the number one shortcut that I like to use, that I like to share, is the cut, copy, and paste. That should be kind of the it's the basis shortcut. It's the one that everyone should use, because you can highlight something, you can right click on it, and then you can go cut, you can go copy, and that would be okay. But you can cut by holding down the command key and X, or control key on X. You can copy by holding down the command key and C, or control key and C. And you can paste by hitting the control key V or command key V on a Mac. Why am I bringing this up? If you're not a shortcut user, these are the easiest ones to get used to, because cut, copy, and paste, that's kind of something that we do throughout the day. And as we cut, copy, and paste, we may want to save that. We may want to save those items that we've created, or we've copied, or we've pasted. There's something called a Clipboard Manager that will allow you to do that. Now, you may be familiar with a password manager. A password manager works by saving all your passwords into one location, and when you need it, you pull it up and it enters that password for you. The the best password managers allow you to go from one device to another. A Clipboard Manager app is similar to that. You can copy text content from one device and paste it into another. You can copy content on your device and have a history of what you've copied and pasted. That is pretty cool. Some people like remembering their cut, copy, paste. I know people who live by one clipboard or other clipboard managers. I'm not one of those people, but I do like the idea. And if you find that this would work for you, please, by all means, check it out. Okay. If you're wondering about PC or Mac, there's a lot of good clipboard managers. This one happens to be Google focused. Integrates with the Google Suite.
I'm going to jump in here just because I have never, ever used this before. And so you're saying this is something that you do use, or you...
I've seen other people use it with much success. I'm a digital hoarder, but I don't hoard my cut, copy, and paste.
How much information? I mean, does this store it in the browser, or like, any idea like how does this work? Does it?
Well, like with a password manager, it saves to a website, and then from that website it goes to your devices. This does something similar. You can have it locally, so it's only stored on your computer, or if you decide to go from device to device, then it goes up to their cloud, and you can connect from your device to your mobile, or from one computer to another, and have all that with you.
Wow, this is great, because I know that I still have yet to find a good working way of being able to save my bookmarks. And on the weekly newsletter, I'm always posting interesting links, right? And I always end the newsletter with some links, and I basically just paste them into a Mac app called Drafts to just for me to go back to. But it seems like something like this would be perfect for that, especially because it's cross-platform. It just lives in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that one.
You're welcome. And we're working in different tabs. I'm working in Safari. This trick works with many web browsers, but I can take my mouse, I can click on the different tabs. That can take some time. If you, on a PC, hold down the Control key and the number 1 through 9, that will go through your tabs here at the top of your screen. On a Mac, it's Command 1, Command 2, Command 3. Command 1 takes me back to the beginning, 2 and 3. So tab switching, I like to use that. I do have a lot of open tabs. I love my tabs. So I'm always constantly switching between 1 or 2, comparing them or seeing which ones I need. And when I don't need it, I close it out. The keyboard shortcut to close out a tab on a PC is Control W. On a Mac, it's Command W. And that gets rid of that tab.
Wow. So is this universal over different browsers? Because I see you're in Safari, so working Chrome and
Chrome, Safari, all over the place.
Firefox. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. So I did a quick keyboard shortcut. It's automatic to me. On Mac, it's Command Tab. It brings up Application Switcher, so I'm able to switch between one application to another. On a PC, it's Windows Key Tab. And you'll get a similar function. You'll cycle through all your windows, and then you're able to go to the one that you choose. And by choosing, you just let go of your keyboard shortcuts, and it'll take you to that place. So right now, I got Safari highlighted here. I'm going to let go of my keyboard shortcut, and there it is. I'm going to hold down my Command key and hit Tab. Tab is what makes it go forward. I have Google Chrome selected, and when I release the command, it takes me to Google Chrome.
Love it.
So I'm going to go to this website here. This is a pretty cool website. You should go check it out sometime. Google search, yeah.
It's a little slow. It's all the YouTube videos they have embedded in it. I'm trying to do that.
So the reason why I bring this up is for you screencasters out there, or for you live presenters out there, you may have someone who would raise their hand and say, hey, I can't see the screen, or hey, the text is too small. There's a quick, simple shortcut for that. On a PC, it's Control+. On a Mac, it's Command plus. And that will allow you to zoom into your screen. I'm going to zoom out. If you got a big screen and you just want more words, more text on your screen, you could zoom all the way out. I am comfortable at about 125%. It's big enough, but not overwhelmingly huge.
Wow. So do you use that very often? Is that something that are you resizing your screen a lot?
All the time.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
No, that's great to hear. I've always wondered about that, like whether or not it was okay to do that, or if my eyes were just like really giving out on me. And
whenever I do a live training, I always ask, can you see the screen? Can you see the cursor?
Yeah.
And then I would adjust accordingly for those who can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And if people are having a hard time, I will just end up zooming in just a little bit so that people could see. Now, it's kind of hard to see these little buttons here in the upper left-hand side. You may be doing something very specific. You want to show them this icon, this button, but as we zoom in and out of this website, it doesn't affect these buttons here in the upper left-hand corner of this Mac browser window. So how do we get around that? You can zoom into that. On a Mac, under accessibility, you could turn on zoom. On a Windows machine, if you look up magnifier, that will bring up a similar option, which will allow you to zoom into that little space. Now, I'm sharing my screen so I can't see, but in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, do you see like a picture-in-picture zoom in?
Yeah, I can see that. So wait, so bringing up magnifier, magnifier is on the PC, you said?
Yep.
Is there a shortcut to bringing that up, or you got to just?
I don't remember. This is how I find my stuff on a PC, and that leads me into another one of my favorite shortcuts: how to find stuff. I keep a very loose filing system. I got my hierarchy of folders, documents that I'm working on, pictures, music, video, other documents, and final projects. That's my hierarchy of folders. But whatever goes after that hierarchy is the Wild West. And sometimes I remember, okay, it's in this folder. Okay, it's in that folder. And I go searching, and it's not there. Well, I run a system search. On a Mac, in the upper right-hand side of your screen, you got the spotlight icon. It's a little magnifying glass or capital Q. You click on that, it brings up the spotlight search, and you're able to search for whatever it is that you're searching for. Let me pull up Safari from here. It pulls up Safari. If I do the search again, it will ask me to spotlight search. Now I'm doing this on a shared machine, so I'm kind of remembering, okay, did I have this set up as my machine, or did I have it set up as just a generic machine? So I feel like I'm a little slow. The keyboard shortcut to bring that up versus going up to the capital Q spotlight icon is Command and Spacebar. And that will bring up the spotlight search. Put it away, Command and Spacebar again. On a PC, if you click on the Windows key, or the Windows icon, is it the Windows icon? Either the Windows icon or the search icon in the lower left-hand side, and begin typing. It will start searching your computer for files, for applications, for what have you.
Yeah, Jane had just mentioned in chat, Windows icon, Windows icon plus, whatever. Yeah, which I've done before on the PC as well. Pretty handy.
Yeah, that is my favorite one. I keep a very loose hierarchy of folders, and then everything else I just put away. And if I can't find it, I'll search for it. Now, there have been discussions about managing tabs in Chrome. I find this a very interesting topic because there are two types of people. There are people that close out their tabs, and then people who don't close out their tabs. I kind of lie in the middle. And for Chrome, I found this great, I should use my shortcut, extension called the Great Suspender. And what that does is after a while, if a tab's not being used, it will go to sleep. It saves on your computer resources. You just search for the Great Suspender and add it to your Chrome browser, and then it will start working.
Explain how that works. What do you mean go to sleep?
You know how you walk away from your computer after a certain time, the screen will turn black.
Mm-hmm.
Your computer will slow down. It kind of just goes into a sleep state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are working on a website, you're viewing a website, and you're just stuck there, all the other websites, all the other tabs will go to sleep. And when you return to a sleeping tab, you click on the sleepy tab icon. It's a very cute icon, and then it will wake it up.
I see. Okay. Because
So
since Jane was saying that she currently has over 30 tabs open. And I know for myself, like, since I come from IT background, I'm all about like memory allocation and resources.
Yep.
And so, like there are people that I work with and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have like 4 browser windows open with like 30 tabs in each browser. How the heck is your computer still running right now?
Right.
You're just like joking with. And so something like this can actually help that, right?
It helped with that a lot.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm going to switch over to this website again. Very cool website. Come check it out. I am also a hunter when it comes to websites. I find something, I open up a link, but I don't open up that link in the same browser. I open it up in a new browser. I open it up as a new tab in the same browser. So if I go over to the link here, and then I hold down the command key or control key on a PC, and then click on that link, it opens it up in a new tab. Let me do that again. I'm going to hold down my command key or control key on a PC, and then click on the link, and it opens that up in a new tab. I like that because, yeah, I am one of those tab hoarders. And when I'm done with it, I look it over, and then I close it out if I don't need it, or I keep it open and move on to a new tab.
That's great. I tend to use like more of the right click and I select that way, opens things up in a new tab.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just constantly, sort of just checking links and things like that. So I tend to use that particular shortcut, the mouse version.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the less you can rely on your mouse, the faster you'll be. I was reading an article about how people put email in folders. Well, by doing that, you're wasting time searching through those folders. Inside of your email client, there's a search function. You could always search for the email that you're looking for. And on a Mac, if you use the Mail app, it will search through the mail if you do a Spotlight search. If you're in Gmail, you got that nice search bar at the top that will search through your email. I've actually stopped putting stuff in folders because I just search for it. Search is my #1 shortcut. Not only do I use it for email, but I also use it for things like how to adjust the brightness on my screen, connect to Wi-Fi, because I could do a quick search by bringing up Spotlight and doing system preferences, or on a window, I hit the Windows key, start typing my whatever it is that I'm searching for, like display brightness, type it in, it brings up the link to that, I click on it, and I'm gone.
Nice.
For me, it's kind of hard because I switch between different platforms to remember the hierarchy of clicks. Like Windows key, is it the gear icon, or is it in the start menu, and I scroll down, is it there? Yeah. It'll take me a while to figure that out, but if I could search for it, it's done.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular on the Windows side that you really miss that you use a lot on the Mac side as far as like shortcuts are concerned? There's probably a lot of other stuff, but just on the shortcut side.
Let's flip that on a Mac on a PC. Because I do use a PC. It's not my preferred OS, but I do like it, and it does have a lot of things happening for it. The thing that I wish that it had better control, a better usage of, is that Windows search, because it feels like it is searching, but it's not as in depth as it is on a Mac. On a Mac, I could search for a word and it'll bring up not only where it's located in my files, not just the file name, but inside the file through my web browsing history. It'll also give me a definition. It'll bring up web searches and a whole lot of other stuff. Right. On a Windows machine, it brings up some stuff. So it's not as in-depth. That's what I miss the most on a PC.
Interesting. Very cool.
And I designed this particular talk to be more open, not device specific, but more open to Mac or PC. And
Right.
those are my favorite shortcuts. I live and die by those shortcuts every day.
Yeah. No, those are great one. Thank you so much for sharing
Mhm.
those. Has it been like difficult at all moving over to the PC platform after being a Mac user for so long?
Video editing.
Yeah.
That's where I struggle with, because it's like, I equate it to driving in the UK, because if I remember correctly, they drive on the left side, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here in the States, we drive on the right side, and I'm a competent driver. I feel I can get from point A to point B safely. If I was to do that in England, I would still be able to do that, but everything would be backwards to me.
So on the video, I especially since Jane is in the audience right now, like, can you give us an example of how that might work for you? Like why the PC is on the other side for you?
Well, the keyboard shortcuts don't match. Now we're getting into more application-specific keyboard shortcuts.
Mhm.
So I am using Adobe Premiere Pro more versus Final Cut Pro. And one of the things that is a universal shortcut is the spacebar. It will pause, it will start a video, even in things like Crowdcast or YouTube, that will work for that. But Adobe Premiere Pro, if you play, the player keeps going. And when it reaches the end of your edits, it just keeps going. That annoys me. The shortcut for that is to make it stop at the end is Control and Spacebar. And the last thing that I'll leave with the crew here is, if there's something that you do a lot of, you find that you're going to the same menu, the same set of buttons, look at what you're clicking at. Like, really look at it. Because if there's a shortcut associated with it, it will say it to the right of that menu option. And chances are, if you hover over that button, it'll give you the keyboard shortcut. Yeah. Or you can create your keyboard shortcuts. Like I believe it was Jane who showed me Camtasia shortcuts and how to change them. Oh my God. I love working in Camtasia, but as I'm working in it and I start getting my editing flow, it's not like Final Cut Pro. And that just irritates me just a little bit. So I was able to go in and change out my shortcuts and make it more Final Cut friendly with my shortcuts.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I noticed that too, because I do a little bit of Camtasia work here and there, and the shortcuts are so different between both platforms, between Mac and Windows. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh man, this is kind of confusing, because I was trying to use Windows shortcuts on my Mac, and I'm like, this is not working. So it was good for Jane to bring that up. All right, well, Al, thank you again so much for joining us this morning and offering these great keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to get a lot of these posted out. I'm going to probably just run this through some kind of a transcription program and post these shortcuts in a little it's like sort of a notepad or something to share with everybody.
Yeah, post it on Slack and keep it open so that we can add to that.
Yeah. And, I actually do kind of want to continue to do productivity episodes outside of this playlist. I love it. Like, it's one of the series that I really feel like I can attach myself to. So even though you're the last one for this month, we're probably going to have more productivity sessions, because they're just helpful for everybody.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. And next month, February, we're doing certificates and certifications, which has been totally crazy for me. I don't know if you guys heard, but ATD just yesterday, I think they announced that what is their CPLP or no, wait, what is it called? Anyway, their primary certification is no longer. And I know Trish Ewell posted something on Instagram about how it was gone, and now I think something is replacing it or something's going on. And I have guests lined up and everything already. You can register for it on the Crowdcast page, but it looks like it's going to be an interesting month for certifications. Mm-hmm. And with that, one last thing, I did have a community discussion scheduled for this morning, but since we're doing this morning, I'm going to shift that one maybe to Monday. It was about your favorite resources in L&D, but since we did this one, I think I'll shift that one to Monday, because I'm going to walk my kid to school this morning.
Sounds great. And I'm going to jump from here to work. So.
All right. Thanks again for your time, Alan. Really appreciate it. Everybody that was in this morning, everybody listening, we'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend. Super.
Great.
All right. See ya.
Bye. See ya.